And what's going on, Read My Lips people? We are back. So close. We are so close to a new year, so close to 2020, and I am excited to bring it in with you guys. Um, you guys showed a lot of support over the last couple months for me and my channel and supporting Andrew Yang, and I just want to thank every single one of you. Now, today I don't bring the most lightheartedness of news. There's a channel by the name of The Progressive Voice. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He has almost 50,000 subscribers, so he's shitting on me. I will catch up though, that I guarantee. But I actually frequent his channel and I actually like his channel. I remember when he had about 10,000, and I would tune in every so often to hear what he had to say. And his channel's been growing since then. Obviously, he considers himself a progressive, which is fine. I put myself, kind of in that progressive camp as well. But recently, he did something that damn near broke my heart. He pretty much shitted on Andrew Yang in every way possible. And um, what the breaking point for the host of the Progressive Voice was Medicare for All. Now, if you've been following my channel for any amount of time, you'll know that I've talked about Yang's Medicare for All policy and his vision for Medicare for All plenty of times. And one of the things I've said is the one pushback Yang is going to get from the left is on Medicare for All. Now, I don't want to dive too far deep into it. I've had, videos explaining my thoughts on it. To do a quick summary, I said I thought Yang should change the name to differentiate himself from Bernie Sanders. I did a study where I spoke to over 60 people, and I asked them, when I say Medicare for All, who do they think of? Every single person said Bernie Sanders. So they associate Medicare for All with Bernie Sanders. It's just what it is. It's just the fact of the matter. I'm not saying we have to like it. That's just what it is. Just like they associate universal basic income with Andrew Yang. Bernie Sanders didn't start the thoughts on Medicare for All. Andrew Yang didn't start the thoughts on Medicare for All, but they are the figureheads of it right now. When you think of universal basic income, you think of Andrew Yang. He's changed the Overton window with universal basic income, just like Bernie Sanders has done it with Medicare for All. So one thing I'm going to warn people not to do is when you're, discussing Medicare for All with somebody and trying to get them on Yang's side, don't talk about some guy who thought of it in the 1970s or some bullshit like that, because they don't care about the guy in the 1970s. They care about the guy who's talking about it right now. And the guy who's, the figurehead, so to speak, of Medicare for All would be Bernie Sanders right now. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Yang's plan. I actually have much faith in Andrew Yang and his plan for Medicare for All. But again, they associate Medicare for All with Bernie Sanders. So the issue that Yang has now with some of the left and the far left and progressives are they envision Medicare for All as Bernie's vision, which is understandable. Again, nobody was talking about it until Bernie Sanders started hammering home on it. So I completely understand that, and I get it, and the Medicare system is atrocious and needs to be fixed. So I'm not talking about which is superior. I'm not talking about which one is better. I'm simply talking about who shifted the Overton window with Medicare for All. And it's Bernie Sanders. And when I did the study, over all 60 people associated with Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, which is weird. But this was before she backed out on Medicare for All. And we'll discuss that even more because it actually ties into what I'm talking about today. All right. So the progressive voice is upset that Yang has backed out of Medicare for All. Well, not even backed out. He's upset that Yang was never for Medicare for All. He's calling Andrew Yang a liar. Now, the reason this bothered me so much, and the reason I'm even reporting on it is, this is somebody that I actually frequent. This is somebody whose channel I go to and listen to what he has to say, because, you know, I respect his opinion on things. But this just came off as wrong and really biased. And understand, I do like Andrew Yang, so I have a bias as well. I get it. I completely understand. It's fair to say, but read my lips, you have a bias as well. We both have biases. His bias is for Bernie Sanders. I'm Yang Gang. I get it. And don't get me wrong, Bernie Sanders is my number 2. I have a top 3. It's Yang, Sanders, and Tulsi. So I don't have an issue with Bernie Sanders. I just think Andrew Yang's policy choices are better. So he proceeds to smear Andrew Yang. And I mean, he goes in. Big talk. Talking big. Talking reckless. Big talk. And it was just really distasteful. I didn't like it. No, sir, I didn't like it. I'm going to play the clips as to the bullshit he was saying about Yang. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to talk about how he's a hypocrite. You know, he's with the bullshit, and how I feel he just didn't like Yang for the jump, and he needed something to pull the trigger on. Let's watch.
Unfortunately, what he has turned out to be is what I expected him to be, and we will get into that in a second. But it turns out that he's a complete liar, basically, which is really concerning for me personally, because if you're going to lie about something like healthcare, and you're going to lie saying that, oh, I support Medicare for all, and then you just don't support it at all, you know, how can I trust you on literally anything else that you say? That's such a key proposal, right? If it was some random minor proposal that was not very relevant, okay, that's one thing. But when you're talking about Medicare for all, your health insurance plan, which is, for me, the biggest thing, because health insurance is life or death, so it's the most important issue, I can't trust you on literally anything. So there was this article posted in HuffPost titled, Andrew Yang is the most conservative healthcare plan in the Democratic primary, by a guy named by the name Daniel Morans. And he breaks down how it's actually the most conservative plan within the Democratic race. So it says, in fact, Yang's health plan, which he bills as an iteration of the left's preferred Medicare for all policy, is more conservative than proposals introduced by candidates typically identified as moderate. So it explains, in terms of expanding health insurance coverage, Yang says on his website merely that he would, quote, explore allowing the employees of companies that already provide health insurance the chance to buy into Medicare. Quote, we need to give more choice to employers and employees in a way that removes barriers for business to grow. There's a bunch of mumbo jumbo right here. First of all, the explore garbage is a hogwash piece of trash. Also, saying that you'll give them the option to enroll in Medicare for all is incredibly disingenuous. Then it's Medicare for those who want it, not Medicare for all, okay? That's not how it is. So it's ridiculous. It says, to be clear, I support the spirit of Medicare for all and have since the first day of this campaign. So it's like, you know, he doesn't support Medicare for all. And this is very, very disingenuous on the part of Andrew Yang. If you watch his convo with Ben Shapiro or Mike Figueredo from the Humanist Report, and you saw him on, I forgot if it was CNN or MSNBC or something, where the host, you know, basically is like, hey, you don't even really seem to, like, support Medicare for all. Why on earth are you claiming to support this? And he's like, yeah, I don't. So he's been disingenuous. I've been saying this for quite a while for you folks, okay? I've been saying this for quite a while. He doesn't support Medicare for all. It's a fraud. And again, to repeat, if you are lying to me about one of your most crucial plans, right? For me, it's the number one. For me, healthcare plan is the number one issue, okay? Then how can I trust you on anything else? You know, mind you, this is also the guy who doesn't support a federal jobs guarantee. He wants to sunset all regulations after like 5 or 10 years or something, which is completely embarrassing, by the way. I mean, just complete insanity. Yang stands who are gonna, you know, if Andrew Yang came out with a dick pic, you know, they'd probably all upload their own, you know what I'm saying, just to stand in solidarity with him. So they're gonna defend him, but their defense is basically, oh, well, he's doing a systemic change so that it's cheap enough for people to buy. First of all, you would have to get rid of the price gougers in the private insurance companies to do that, first of all. But number two, that doesn't address, like, no one can pay out of pocket for health insurance. It's impossible. It's literally impossible. So you're not addressing, how you're going to give, and there's nothing here about expanding coverage to people who don't have it. There's just simply nothing here on that. This is simply not going to do it. This is stupid. This plan is embarrassing, okay? And I'm really livid about this, although I'm not surprised because I knew this was coming, to be quite frank with you. I knew this is who Andrew Yang was. I knew it. I'm not going to lie. I've been telling you guys this for a bit. This is Andrew Yang. So the question we have to ask now is, who the hell is Andrew Yang? I don't know who this guy is. All I know about him is he supports a universal basic income. But that's all I know. That's really all that I know at this point. And for all I know, this guy could be basically the next Milton Friedman. And it's just, it's disgusting to see, and I'm totally done with this guy. Even though I find him to be kind of a funny character, and not someone you'd want to hate, it's pretty slimy what this guy did. Like, it's one thing to be, like, I always said that, I always had this level of support for, or not support, but respect for Amy Klobuchar, because I told you guys, she may not agree with Medicare for All, but at least she's honest about it, and I respect that. If you're going to be a centrist, go out there and be a centrist. Don't lie to people. Don't make stuff up. Don't do any of that stuff, all right? Don't be like Kamala Harris and you fake your positions. Hold your positions, take them, be public about them, and that's that, basically. So, this is very, disappointing and unfortunate. When it comes to Warren, I'm actually going to put at, oh man, shoot, do I put her at A or do I put her at B? This is a really tough one here. With Elizabeth Warren, the thing is that I'm going to put her at B as well. I would give Warren the edge over Tulsi, for sure, just because I feel like I trust Warren more than Tulsi. Tulsi seems very ominous at this point, but the reason why I have Warren at B, she does have a progressive track record, obviously. She does support, a lot of the same proposals that Bernie does, even though she's waffled on Medicare for All a bit, similar to how Tulsi Gabbard has. Pretty much no one stood still on M4A but Bernard himself. And, she supports many of the same policies that Bernie does, of course. And that's why I have her at B tier. And, for me, if Warren ends up being the nominee, it's not the end of the world. Is it as nearly as good as Bernie? Of course not. But it's not the end of the world if she becomes a nominee. Now, if Biden becomes a nominee, then we're screwed. Next, we got, let's see, who are we putting here? We got Andrew Yang. I'm going to put Andrew Yang in, I'm going to put him in D tier. Honestly, I have a lot of people in the F tier, man. But Andrew Yang, I kind of want to put in F tier because I just did a video about his backing off of Medicare for All and basically exposing him for just straight up lying about Medicare for All, or his support for Medicare for All, that is. He doesn't support Medicare for All. He never supported Medicare for All. And I hate candidates who are not transparent about what it is that they support. To me, that is the ultimate sin as a candidate. I want you to be honest and upfront with me. What the fuck do you support? Tell me what you support, and then I will make my decision as to whether or not I want to support you based on those policy positions. But when you lie to me about what you support, I can't trust you anymore. Especially considering that it's literally a healthcare plan, which is the most focal issue in this election from my perspective, from my opinion.
Okay, so he went all in, calling Yang a liar, and if you looked, or if you listened rather, he said, "Just be upfront with me. Tell me what you're about from the beginning, so I can make my choice," and blah 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 blah. Right? This is what he's saying. He's saying Yang wasn't honest, and make your choice from the jump. Tell me what your choice is from the jump, so I can make my choice, and don't be dishonest with me, etc. Okay, all right. If that's how you perceive it, that's fine. But in that same segment, you said you'd be fine with Elizabeth Warren winning the presidency. Now hold on, let's back up for a second. Elizabeth Warren, if we're going by your perceived notion on things, Elizabeth Warren lied to you as well. Wouldn't that be the case? Because she was for Medicare for All, right? She kept saying it. She kept blasting it. She was stealing some of the thunder from Bernie. And then she flaked out of it. Elizabeth Warren is not for Medicare for All. If you see her policy, it is not Bernie's version of Medicare for all. It just isn't. It just isn't. She has her own bullshit, horrible policy that is not Medicare for all. You said it yourself. She waffled on Medicare for all. So I'm confused. If Medicare for all is the most important thing to you, if that's what you're basing everything on, based on these candidates, and you don't want a candidate to lie to you, so you can to be upfront, so you can make a conscientious decision. Why are you cool with Elizabeth Warren winning the presidency? I don't understand. Because by your logic, you should not be okay with Elizabeth Warren winning the presidency. Because from what it seems like she supposedly did the same thing that Yang did. I'm going by what you're saying. But for some reason, you're okay with Warren winning it, but not Yang. Yang D tier. Put Yang at the bottom. Put Warren in B tier. How? How, Sway? How? I don't get it. It sounds really hypocritical. And if we're being honest, if you were to break it down, Andrew Yang going up against Donald Trump has a much better chance of winning than Elizabeth Warren. A much better. Are you kidding me? Do you know how well Yang does with independents and Trump voters? Are you kidding me? As a matter of fact, if you look at the polling data, when they put Sanders, Biden, and Warren up against Trump, she does the worst. She does the worst. Ironically, the polling data says Biden does the best, and Bernie Sanders is in between. It's just, it baffles my mind. If Medicare for all was just that important, if healthcare was just that important to you, why Warren? Because their plan is atrocious. We're not going to do it this time around, and we're going to do it the next time around. Like, come on. So, look, if he was just mad at Yang, and he doesn't like Yang's Medicare for all policy, and like I said in other videos, Yang's going to take the most heat on Medicare for all. He just is. That's just what it is. I'm not saying, Yang Gang has to like it. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying that's just what it is, because when you say Medicare for all, it's Bernie's policy that comes to people's mind. That's just what it is. And somebody on the left gave me a really good example, and they said, look, that's like somebody else running, right? And saying, I support the freedom dividend. I support the freedom dividend. And then they come out with a completely different plan that's still universal basic income, but it's not Yang's freedom dividend. Well, you don't support the freedom dividend. You support universal basic income, you're right, but it's not the freedom dividend. Name it something else. Call it something else. Call it, I don't know, basic money stack. I don't know what you want to call it. And say this guy's like, a guy or girl's like, I don't want to do $1,000 a month. I want to do $500, and I don't want to put a value added tax on this and that. I want to do this. They have their own different plan and their own different version, their own different way of going about it. Okay, so you have your own version of universal basic income, but it's not the freedom dividend. And that's how, some Sanders supporters were explaining it to me. I get it. I get what they're saying. And this is what I said Yang was going to take the most heat on. But this bullshit from the progressive voice, oh, come on, bro. And look, the tweet will be somewhere on the screen. I tried to get at him. I tried to tweet him, like, Yang's not fucking D tier. Like, are you, out of all those people you had on the screen, you put Yang in fucking D tier? And so now that's made me rethink my whole analysis on his channel, because I was enjoying watching his channel grow. I was enjoying his political commentary. Now, he spoke to Anna Kasparian, and she kind of said he's like, I don't know, like, kind of like almost like a gossip political channel.
All right, look, we all have guilty pleasures, and my guilty pleasure is the TMZ of progressives, the progressive voice. Joining me now is the host and creator of that YouTube show, Sahil Habibi. Sahil, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, of course. All right, so I want to have some fun. I want to talk about what you do and how you came to do what you do. But before we do it, I do want to ask you a question that's been on my mind ever since I came across your show. And you don't have to answer it if you're uncomfortable with this, but like, how old are you?
I'm 19. I just turned 19
That's
a couple weeks ago.
incredible. That's incredible. So I do really enjoy your show because of a number of different reasons. So I got hooked on it because of the junk food.
And I can see what she means by that, but he's not stupid. Like, he's not stupid. He's a younger guy, and it's dope that he's into politics, but I just feel like you took this one issue and chose to ream Yang no lube. Like, you ignored all his other policies. I'm not saying you have to agree with his Medicare for all policy. If you don't agree with it, fine. But it's almost like you're ignoring every other policy he has. And it's ridiculous. Grow up. I feel like you need to grow up. In this scenario, this is ridiculous. You put Yang in D tier, and you're allowed to categorize, who you want to put in what category. It's your life. Some people I know in Yang Gang don't like that I got Bernie in my top 3. There's some people in Yang Gang, there's some people that frequent my channel that absolutely hate Bernie Sanders. They don't like Bernie Sanders. He's still in my top 3 because we're all allowed to like who we want to like and categorize them and put them in whatever tier we want to put them in. I get it. But I just feel like you're not giving Yang a fair shot. And I feel like since you were so quick to cut dude off, so quick to pull the trigger, that you never really fucked with Yang to begin with. You just didn't have anything solid. You just didn't have anything concrete to pull the trigger on. And then you heard that he wasn't for Medicare for all, the way you wanted him to be for Medicare for all, and you pulled the trigger, and you're like, all right, I could be done with Yang. Come on. Look, you don't have to like every policy. And look, I'm going off track. Look, to say that healthcare is the most important to you, I can absolutely agree with that because healthcare is incredibly important to me. But I call bullshit because Warren's healthcare policy is complete trash. But you'd be okay with her winning the presidency. Like, you were so adamant that healthcare is the most important to you that you just can't fuck with Yang. Like, if it's that important to you, why are you fucking with Warren? Right? It doesn't make any sense. You should be like, yo, healthcare is so important that I cannot deal with Elizabeth Warren. Look at this policy. She's D tier, F tier. It's not what you did. Now, you can make the case like, oh, well, she's got a progressive, background, etc. Okay, yeah, she's got an iffy background. We can talk about the book bullshit. We can talk about the Indian bullshit. There's a lot we can talk about with Elizabeth Warren. I don't 100% trust Elizabeth Warren. We could talk about the meetings with Hillary. We could talk, listen, we can talk about Elizabeth Warren, and when you bring up everything, it's kind of iffy. It's kind of iffy. Has she done some progressive things? Yes, absolutely. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That's because of Warren. That's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. So, yes, she has done some progressive things. Absolutely. But she's also had some shady things. Right? I mean, let's just be honest. She's not supposed to be taking any corporate PAC money and stuff like that. But she did it before. And she's using that money while running her campaign. So you did take corporate PAC money. You did take big donor money. You're just not doing it while you're running your campaign. You did it right before you ran your campaign, and you're using that money now. Listen, we can get into the pros and cons of Elizabeth Warren. This really isn't about her per se. This is about the progressive voice and the smearing of Yang, and I think he's being completely unfair, and I think he's being biased. And look, he's a growing channel, and he's starting to become pretty influential. Like I said, he's interviewed on the Young Turks before. He just did an hour-long interview with Kyle Kulinski, who's incredibly influential. And look, Kyle himself has had pros and cons with Yang, but Kyle's always been fair to Yang. And everybody may not disagree, but I've seen Kyle defend Yang many a time, right? I've seen Kyle get on Yang about things he disagrees with, and I've also seen him defend Yang on things he agrees with Yang on. But this was just bullshit. this was just bullshit. And I just wanted to bring it to your attention because he's a growing channel. He's starting to become influential. And, dude, you really didn't give Yang a fair shot. You really didn't. And I think you're being hypocritical because if you were solid on what you were saying, you wouldn't be supporting Elizabeth Warren either. You wouldn't be okay with an Elizabeth Warren presidency because healthcare is the most important thing to you. And I think you're ignoring all of Yang's other policies. You really are. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. You know, don't harass the progressive voice. You know, if you want to reach out and talk to him while he's still accessible, I think he's still an accessible kind of person because his channel's obviously bigger than mine, you know, almost 50K. But he's not so big yet that, you know, your tweets or emails or what have you would get lost in space. So if you wanted to reach out and talk to him, that's cool. I wouldn't mind interviewing him and picking his brain because I really think he's not thinking this through. I think he had a visceral reaction. And he's with the bullshit. Yang is nobody knew who Yang was 7 minutes ago. Nobody knew who Yang was 7 minutes ago. And I think he's done some amazing things. And if you don't agree with his Medicare for all, fine. That's fine. But to cast him aside like that is complete bullshit. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. That means you're casting aside, you know, him wanting to decriminalize drugs. He just came out with an amazing thought on decriminalizing sex work. Just so much. All that to the wayside. All that to the wayside. He was talking about nuclear energy. All that to the wayside. Universal basic income. All that to the wayside. Because you don't agree with his Medicare for all policy. So, just wanted to bring that to you guys. It got under my skin. Okay? It got under my skin a little bit. Because he's somebody I listened to. You know, he's somebody I was digging. But I digress. Look, I am going to New Hampshire. I'm going to New Hampshire. I think I got a hotel lined up. I have one ticket lined up. I need two. I really need 2 tickets. I need 2 tickets for the New Year's party. I have one lined up. I need the second one. If anybody has access to a second ticket or is selling a ticket or anything along those lines, please let me know. And I'm going to be there, you know, hanging out with Grassroots Yang Gang and meeting Andrew Yang. So that's going to be amazing. And so anybody that supported that, anybody that's looked out, thank you. It's very much appreciated. And in other news, I'm trying to score an interview with Evelyn Yang. I'm in the Secure the Yang Challenge. We got to the end of the month. We got to the end of this December to raise $50,000 for Andrew Yang. The winner of this will get to interview Evelyn. And I think Paget is the one hosting this thing. She's the one that put this one together. Tom did it for the last one. And it was Hustle, Kai, and Paget. They had an incredible interview with Yang. So this time around, I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to talk to Evelyn Yang and pick her brain a little bit and just have an amazing interview. So if you want that to happen, donate in the Act Blue link in my description below, and we can make this happen. So if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. If you don't, let me know in the comment section why. I'm always down to talk about it. Also, I have a Cash App, a PayPal, and a Venmo link in the description below. Please feel free to donate to the channel. Every little bit helps my channel grow. I need to get past these, 50,000 subscriber YouTube channels freaking smearing Yang and saying whatever the hell they want and combat these people because it's absolutely ridiculous. So every little bit helps. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace.
My girl is in the club, yeah, we're feeling down the beat, yeah, the music on repeat, baby. I don't care, no one like you, don't need me. I know that you can feel me. We're dancing with my bling bling. baby, they'll pick you up. You didn't know, but you're ready now. Baby, rise up.